Hi guys, I'm Anushri, and in today's video we'll discuss about the visa process for Canada and how to go about the entire process and my experience with the visa application as well. Now first what comes to mind is what is the entire visa called for Canada and how is it applicable. It is called study permit when you're applying to study in Canada, and it is called work permit when you're applying to work in Canada. Now, with a study permit, usually a student would be eligible to study full time in a university of their choice and work part time, that is 20 hours per week as well. With a work permit, you would not be eligible to study, but you would only be eligible to work. But sometimes with a work permit, you would also be able to get a separate study permit with which you could probably enroll in a university yourself. So first thing, to apply for a study permit, you would have to access the Canada Immigration and Citizenship website. Now it is the IRCC website. You could easily Google this and the website would pop up. Under services, you would have the immigration and citizenship, under which you would have different options of the visa applications. One of these would be your study permit along with the temporary residency, the work permits and other things. Now, for the study permit application, this is the only website where you would actually have to access and the website where you would start the entire process. Now, again, there are types of visa application, which is student direct stream and non-student direct stream. You could also make an online application or an offline application. Now, when I say about the IRCC website, I'm talking about the online application part. So, when it comes to offline applications, you could do that through VFS Canada or the VFS Global, which are present in most cities in Canada. So, they are the official front runners when you have to submit your application. Now, before we decide whether to choose online or offline, let's briefly understand what is SDS and non-SDS and how you would be eligible for SDS and non-SDS, and then we'll talk about the online and offline. So, SDS or the Student Direct Stream is a visa application process which is fairly simple and usually comes in the online format, and I think also available in the offline format, but probably needs a couple extra documents which we will discuss when we are discussing the online topic. So in the student direct stream, the first eligibility is that you should have given the IELTS. So if you have taken the TOEFL, you would not be eligible for SDS. So automatically, depending on the kind of exam you have given, you will have to choose the visa application process as well. The second thing that you would need is you would have to have paid the entire first year's tuition fees and also made a GIC. Now, when I say GIC, it is a guaranteed investment certificate, and we will have another video in discussing the entire GIC process and how to apply and what is the importance of it. But with the if you have the GIC done, you can apply for the SDS. So, like I said, the three main things for an SDS that sets apart the non-SDS is: first, you should have given IELTS. You should have 6.5 and above in your IELTS. Again, a score below that, you would not be, I think it's 6, and anything below 6, you would not be able to apply for the SDS. You would have to go for the non-SDS. The second thing is you should have paid the entire first year's tuition fees, and you should have proof of payment. So every university will give something called as a proof of payment for your SDS visa, which you should have. And the third thing is you should have made a GIC and have the GIC certificate from one of the banks. There are three very popular banks that give GIC to students coming to Canada. We will discuss about that later. So you should have a welcome letter from one of these three banks. So this automatically makes you eligible to apply for SDS. So when you don't have these three, your choice is you go for non-SDS. Now, what is the difference between SDS and non-SDS? STS is a very faster process. It takes usually during the non-peak season, it takes just about 1 week to 15 days to get your visa approved, sanctioned, and even your passport stamped and getting back. The entire process takes about just 15 days. Whereas non-STS can take up to 60 days even during the non-peak seasons. So it's a process. Since you have not paid anything and have not paid your tuition fees, there will be a lot of scrutiny, and I will tell you what are the kind of documents needed, because I myself applied for a non-STS, so I will tell you the documents needed for that. And again, talking about online and offline. Now both STS and non-STS comes in both online and offline mode. The only difference is, for the online mode, you will use the IRCC website. You will upload all the documents and select whether you're going for the student direct stream or the non-student direct stream based on the documents you have submitted. And in the offline, you will just go down to a VFS, you will fill out the application manually, take the application with you, and you will submit all the documents along with your passport. Now, when you are applying in the online mode, you don't have to submit your passport. You will have a request of passport once your application is approved. But for a offline, you have to submit your passport at the VFS Global. So if it's a non-STS, mind you, it's going to take you about 60 days for you to get back your passport with stamped, like the visa stamped on it, if it is approved. And if it is rejected, a letter saying why it has been rejected, and your passport will come back to you, or the address that you have mentioned on the envelope. So this is about the types of visa application, and also the formats in which you can apply these two. So based on the time, your availability with you, and the kind of exams you have taken, it's up to you to decide what kind of visa you want to apply to, and the kind of process you want to go through. Now we will discuss about the documents that are required. Now I personally applied for the non-STS type because I had given the TOEFL. So I was not eligible to apply through the STS. So I applied through the non-STS online stream. So I will give you the documents that was required for that, and I will tell you some documents that are different for the STS as well. So when you're applying, you would have to submit about three different kinds of documents. The first set is your academic documents. Now, your academic documents would start off with your SOP. Now, when you're applying online, there is no separate folder to post your SOP or to upload your SOP. But you know that a visa SOP is very, very important, which we will tell why in probably a few minutes. And visa SOP plays a very important role, so you have to submit it. So what you could do is attach it with one of these documents, and I applied my SOP in the academic section. So my academic section usually would have an SOP followed by your 10th grade and your 12th grade marks cards, and also your entire bachelor's marks cards. Every SEM marks cards should be included. And if you've already completed, when you're applying, if you've already completed your bachelor's and you already have a degree certificate, then you have to attach that degree certificate as well. And towards the end, you should obviously attach your IELTS or TOEFL scorecard. Now again, all of these must be scanned. Original copies need to be scanned in color, and you have to upload these documents. So the last document that you submit is either your GRE and your TOEFL or your IELTS, whichever exams you have taken, you would have to attach those as well. So this completes the academic documents. The next thing that you would need is a scanned copy of your passport. Now this is very important because before they approve, they want to know that you have eligible passport, and the date of expiry is not very close, that they close to the date of sanctioning of these visas. So you should have a valid passport, and you have to have a scanned copy of this passport. Third and most important thing is your photograph. It should be a digital copy. Now, for your visa, you would have a certain dimension. Now, this is the squarish dimension, very similar to the US, but probably a little different in that dimensions, which you could easily Google out. And even if you're try if you go into the website, you have the dimensions mentioned there. It should be a certain, I think it should be below 50 kb or 100 kb, I'm not quite sure, but it should be a small size. So when you go to get your photo clip, ask them to give it reduce the size and give it to you as a digital copy as compared to a actual copy. Now, very important next set of documents you need to have is the financial documents. These are the documents that are going to decide whether you're going to get the visa approved or not. So in the financial documents, the first thing that any student would have to attach is the GIC. Like I mentioned earlier, GIC is the guaranteed investment certificate, and even for the non-SDH stream, it is recommended that you have the GIC, so that at least the visa officers know that you are able to bear your living expenses. You don't have to invest too much, and they don't have to scrutinize your financial documents too much when they know that you are at least able to sustain yourself for a year. So the first thing that you submit is the GIC welcome letter. The second thing you put there is either your education loan approval letter, or if you're not going through a loan, or if you're just going to show your FD or a bank statement, you need to attach those as well. The third set of documents that you will attach is the bank statement of your parents. Now, these are the last 3 months of bank statements. 3 to 6 months is recommended of bank statements of your parent. Now, this is very important because they're just trying to know that a large sum of money was not being transferred between you, your parents, and somebody else just to cover the costs of the tuition fees. So they're trying to make sure that you have not got a lot of funds in the recent past just so that you can get the visa approved. So for this, they will expect you to have the bank statements for the last 3 years. And the next document is your ITR filing, the income tax filing that your parent would have done. And again, they're going to use this to cross refer with your bank statements, just to make sure there has not been any kind of mishaps happening where you have not been trying to go around, beat around everything and trying to apply for the visa. Now, they do scrutinize this, especially if it's a non-STS thing. They will look at each and everything because you have not exactly paid your tuition fees yet, so they're going to look into everything. The last thing that you would submit is your own ITRs as well, because if you have been working, you would have filed some IT, right? So you have to submit that as well to make sure that to show them that you have had some, like in your SOP you would have mentioned that you have so and so work experience and all that. So just to confirm that your own ITR with whatever earning you have made would actually create a base, because you could say you have made some savings yourself. And next document that you would have to upload is the letter of acceptance from the university that you've been accepted to. Now this usually students ask that if you've applied to one university, you've got an acceptance, can you apply for the visa and while you still wait for other universities? Yes, you could do that. You can get a visa approved, and then you could always go back to the website and change the, like if you decide not to go to one university but you're going to another university, apparently there's a fairly simple process which I have not done, but there is which you could go and just change the university that you're going to go to. So you could actually start applying to the university as soon as you get one permit, one approved admit from any university. Now the last and one of the very very important documents that would actually make this process either fast or slow is your medical examination information sheet. Now before we will answer this, what are the prerequisites for visa in the next question, but before you apply you would have done a medical examination, and at the end of the examination they would have given you something called as a medical information sheet. So you have to upload this document as well. I will see you in my next video with much more information regarding your study process in Canada.